Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Okay, so I have not been on YouTube for a month now. It's been forever, but I've just been out like living my best. Like I've been working on myself. I'm kind of on this like road to self-discovery, like finding myself in my 30s and what makes me feel good and what makes life in your 30s good. And so I figured let me do this series. I just wanted to talk about and help people that are in their 30s like find their best, because I feel like social media can make you find your absolute worst in yourself. And I'm like, let's just embrace the fact that we're in our 30s and we are finally figuring things out. And I said, let me start this little series of maybe talking about some issues that we have in our 30s and ways to like just feel better about getting older. And so I said, let me start like part one of this series. Let me start with makeup, because makeup can make you feel so much younger and just there's certain things that we do that with makeup that make us look younger or look older. So you got to be careful of some things, and then some things can just enhance your natural beauty. And I feel like the makeup look that I created is like that. It everything about this to me just enhances your natural beauty, and it just brings to life like your skin and focusing on skin and just looking young and healthy and glowy. I feel like helps us to feel younger. So if you want to see this makeup look and just little tips and tricks for makeup that in our 30s, then just go ahead and keep watching. Okay guys, so let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to address is primer. I've been using primer on my face for a while. I will use different ones to smooth out my pores. I really feel like my pores are not getting clogged, but they are like lifting things out of them. So just say I put the primer on, I feel like my foundation's been kind of lifting. I don't know if it's like the dryness in the air or what, but this is my solution to that. This is a moisturizer. You can get it from Amazon. And I already have moisturized my face with my regular moisturizer, but I've been putting this on instead of primer. And so I'll just put a few dots. You can rub it in if you want to, or you can be a little bit bougie and take your foundation brush and brush it in. I feel like that is giving me like the best applications lately, and so that's what we're gonna do. I've been using the Real Techniques like stippling brush. I don't even know what the name of it is. It's gone now, but it looks like this. This is what I've been using for foundation, and what I'll do is I'll take the same brush that I'm about to use for foundation, and I'll just take this and lightly buff it into the skin. And this to me is just giving like the moisturized, glowy look that I'm looking for. Even if I have oily skin usually, and in the winter time, I forget that, look, just because you have oily skin doesn't mean in the winter time you're going to have oily skin too. Like, you have to change what you're doing according to the seasons. And so right now the air is pretty dry outside, and so I've been a little bit more dry. Okay, so for foundation, I like to use a satin finish foundation. I don't really like matte foundations that much anymore because I feel like they stick to different places on the skin. I feel like in my 30s, my skin is changing a little bit. It's getting a little bit more dry. It's not as oily. And I have really enjoyed this foundation. I have been using it when I'm oily, when I'm dry. I don't care. It is my go-to foundation. There's probably better out there that I just haven't tried, but there's no reason to change it. There's no reason to spend extra money when this works so well. This is the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. It's probably about $30 some. I don't know. But I use the porcelain shade in the wintertime. And what I'll do is just put a few like places on my face. I don't cake the foundation in anymore. And if you use a beauty blender and wet it, sometimes lately I've felt that you can really overdo your foundation by using the beauty blender, and you won't realize it because the beauty blender's wet, and then you'll be putting on a whole bunch of foundation, and then later on it'll be like super cakey, and it's only because you put too much on. So if you just lightly cover your face, and then get your brush. I've been using this same brush that I use for my moisturizer, and I've just been like slowly, light-handedly buffing it into my skin. and just kind of, sometimes I can drag it. It don't matter. But this is my foundation technique right now that I've really been liking for my new skin. Like, I have such a different attitude about things in my 30s, especially when it comes to like the way I look. I like to play with makeup, but I really like I'm like more of a clean, natural looking base now, and just, I don't know, a clean, natural look. That's what I'm kind of going for in my 30s. And so I'll just keep rolling that around until all the first layer is put down. Okay, so now we have on our first layer of foundation. And if there's any blemishes or anything that you want to just add a little bit more coverage to, these are not blemishes down here. This is actually some dermatitis spots, but I'll put a little bit more over those because that just bothers me. And we'll just lightly stipple that in. Don't overdo it. That's the key. Do not overdo foundation, because if you do, it's going to be a cakey mess later on. It might look pretty when you first put it on, but it will be a cakey mess later. Okay, so we have our foundation base on, and now we're going to go in with concealer. Concealer, do not do it too light, but not too dark. And what I mean is, you can either go too white under your eye, or you can go too yellow. I like a pink base, so we're going to go in with the Tarte Shape Tape. This is a good concealer. It's thick, and it can also be creamy too. Like, it's really good. I'm using the shade Light, and I don't like this darkness right here. If you put white over that, it's going to turn gray. If you put a nice pink over it, I feel like it blends into the pink of my skin. And if I put yellow there, it's going to look super weird. And you can probably see where I used a yellow one in previous ones that I shouldn't have used. And it looks super weird if you have a pink base, like face, and then you go in with too yellow of a concealer. Don't overdo your concealer. Everything in our 30s is about not overdoing it. If you do, it's going to be cakey. And cakey equals just like, I just feel older when I'm cakey. Okay, so for concealer, to blend it in, I have not been using my beauty blender lately. I've been using the Morphe brush. This is the E8. I think Sephora makes one too. And I've been spraying it with my Fix Plus and just getting it a little bit wet. You don't even need Fix Plus. You could use like water. And then I just lightly drag it down. Don't start in here and pull it, or it's going to pull. Start at the bottom and work your way to the eye. See how it's just like smoothing out easily? And I just bring it down my nose and just start feathering it out. And then when I get in here, I'll just like tap it, because I want that darkness in that corner covered. I can't fully cover everything. And if you keep trying to, and you're not like 100% skilled like a makeup artist, you're going to end up getting creasy and cakey. Okay, so this is the concealer all blended in. I think it looks good. It's like light and dewy. And let's move on to how I contour. Let me find my little stick. I've been using this Clinique chubby stick. It's an easy contour. This is 01 curvy contour. What I do is you find your cheekbone on each side. See how I don't really have like full cheeks right now. It just is kind of filled in. I'm kind of round. So try to find it. And then see how mine don't go all the way up to the top. Suck in and then find it right underneath. And I put the line on almost on top of it, because I don't want to blend it too far down. My cheeks are crooked. They're not exactly straight. And so my lines are usually different on each side. But you know what? We're not all symmetrical. And then I go on the forehead and I just bring that around. And then I will put one line right across here, because that'll kind of give your jaw a little contour, but it's not over contoured. So that is all the things that I do. And now let's go ahead and blend it in. I'm using the same brush. I know this is crazy, but it's easy and it works. So I'm using the same brush, and I'm just going to start buffing this in, and I'm going to tell you how I fixed my skin. Okay. Okay, so you know how I used to have really bad acne? Well, I have been on birth control pills for a long time, and I decided to get the IUD. And when I did, my skin went to absolute shit. And when I got that thing out, my skin went back to normal. I did not like the IUD. It messed me up. I need estrogen, and that progesterone only made me feel so terrible. I felt like a man. I was mad all the time. I was aggressive. I had mood swings. I would cry. I really hated the IUD really badly. It like really screwed up my life, and it really messed up my face. I got that thing out of me and got back on birth control pills, and my skin went right back to the baby skin that I've always had. It's so wonderful. And so that is what messed me up. So if you have acne and you're in your 30s, it's probably a hormonal problem. It's probably nothing that like skincare wise will take care of. It's probably something that I'd be like talking to my doctor about. Like, what can I do internally, like hormonal wise, to fix my acne? It may be a birth control issue that you can fix your acne. It's that IUD really, it really messed me up bad. And so go talk to your doctor before you spend $1 million in products, because it's 30s, it's probably a hormonal problem. And if you need some more coverage with this, you can keep adding it. This blends so well into the skin. See how like easy it blends in? I'm just barely touching it and it's all blended in. This just gives me a little bit of depth and dimension to the face, and it's really easy. You're using the same brush. You're in your 30s, you're busy, it's time to go, like kids are waiting for you, but this is not taking your whole life away, you know? This is a very popular powder right here. You can buy this at Walmart, and I'll use this today just for the sake of, you know what, not everybody I know can find like Charlotte Tilbury powder, and they don't have time for that. So this you can buy from Walmart. This is the Coty airspun powder. It got some flack for having flashback, but I mean, on a daily basis, we're not taking pictures of ourselves constantly. I mean, I'm just tapping this in lightly. You can keep using the same brush. I usually switch brushes, but I'm trying to make life easy for everybody. And so I'm just tapping in everywhere that has concealer and foundation. And then my little bronzy spots, I'm going to use bronzer so I don't mess with that. This, I've barely put any on. You can go heavier if you need to, but I'm trying to keep it light as possible. And so I just lightly put that on. And then I'll keep going over it like with no powder. See what I'm doing? Like with no powder on my brush anymore. And just keep tapping it down and just soaking it into the skin. The key to everything is just soaking things in. Just blending it and soaking it down so it's not moving. And I think that looks pretty good right there. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and bronze the face up a little bit. All I'm going to do is put bronzer on everywhere that I put the contour powder. And then bring it up. Everywhere that I put the contour is where I like to put bronzer. You have to find your face shape too. Like, I mean, I mess up all the time. Sometimes if I'm in a hurry and I just slap products on, I'll get in the car and I'll see that, you know what, I didn't contour my face correctly. Like, I didn't find my cheekbone right, or I didn't put enough bronzer in the right spots. And I just, you know, we mess up all the time because we get in a hurry. But this is like a basic example of what I do. I like bronzer. I think it's pretty, and I keep on packing it on. So it's better to probably go a little more light-handed than I do, but I just love the way that looks. I think it it makes me feel tan, and it makes me feel pretty. And I just love bronzer. And I'll just put it right here where I had my contour. bring it up like that so it don't start getting too low. And that's pretty much it. If you want to go down your nose, you can right here. You can, I don't like over contour my nose or anything. I just put a little bronzer if you want to. Then I go ahead and put on some mascara. I'm going to curl my lashes. All I do is grab them and then I just go like that one time. I don't curl them because mine already touch my skin. And mine are short, but I just have floppy skin. So I just don't even mess with it. I just hit them one time with it. And then I use the Benefit Roller Lash Mascara. This is my ride or die, my tried and true. It doesn't transfer and it's easy to use. And the little curvy part bends just how I want it to. It's just a beautiful mascara. And I just lightly coat them. I don't like dig in or anything. I put the mascara wand into my eye and then I close my eye. So it's like I don't push the mascara wand into it. I just keep closing the eye over it because I don't like heavy, thick mascara. Everything light. Okay, so let's go in with some blush. I'm going to use the MAC Melba blush. You can find any pinky/peachy blush that you want to use. And I'm not real picky on blushes. I like this one, and this is actually the first blush I ever owned when I got into makeup. And I put it on the same type of brush that I use for my foundation and all that. This is that same Real Techniques brush, and this stippling brush will make your blush not apply as heavy and thick. And so you can kind of go in a little bit with it. So I just smile and I find where my cheek starts and I kind of put it right over my bronzer. So I smile and everything I do, I push it upward. I like lots of blush. Lately, the hype has been, Kylie kind of, I feel like, started this little hypeness, but she'll go across her nose with the blush. She'll hit her chin with blush. Like, she'll just make everything blend in pink lately, and I think it's super pretty on her. Ugh. And so I'm going to do the same. I'm just going to hit my bronzer places with blush, make everything pink and flush and pretty. Make you look like you got a little sunburn. Okay, the last thing really I want to address about the face is highlighter. In our 30s, a lot of times we have little texture places on our skin. So if you put highlighter on those texture places, it's going to, bam, bring it right out. So you have to be very careful of that. If you have wrinkles right here, which I don't because of the Botox, but I usually do have them, do not highlight that area. Like if you put highlighter right here, it's going to bring like attention to your wrinkles. So what you're going to have to do is you can actually use that same brush if you want to save time, energy, and money, and use that tapered highlighter brush. And I'm going to go in with, this is finally a drugstore product, is the L'Oreal True Match Lumi highlighter in the shade Rose. And this is what it looks like. I've had this one forever. It's got that little pinky glow that I like. And I just take my brush and just roll it all around in every single color in here. And so just like all around, roll it. And then tap it off, because you're going to have too much powder on it. And then I smile. And so I've got my bronzer here, my blush here, and I just like to highlight right here. And then I'll just come to this side and I'll just hit right here. And I think it's been pretty lately, if you don't have too many pores, to just hit right under here and then just kind of bring it around. I don't know. I've just been liking that look lately. And then you can put some like right across here, and then you'll bring it down the center of your nose. This is going to make your nose wider if you are not careful, so you kind of just have to bring it straight down. and then stop before you get to the tip, and then go sideways across the tip. That's what I do. And a good way to fix highlighter if you overdo it. So like say right here, I don't really like the way those bumps are showing off. What I'll do is I'll take my little powder puff and then dip back into my Charlotte Tilbury powder, and I'll just push it down. And to me, that makes highlighter kind of blend into the skin, and it's not as noticeable that it's highlighter. It looks just more of a glowish type look. Okay, and so for lipstick, I like to use something that is going to come off because I don't like for my lips to get cakey. So a lot of times I will just wear some gloss, and not even that. I'll wear like a chapstick. I have different chapsticks that I use, but I just grab this Burt's Bees Ultra Conditioning chapstick, and I just put a little chapstick. And that, you don't have to worry about it coming off. You don't have to worry about it getting crusty. You don't have to worry about drinking your Red Bull to keep your mom energy up and having it all over the place. You just are like natural and pretty and pink. But if you do want lipstick, then I suggest a little pinky flush of color. And the perfect one for me is MAC Cream Cup. That's so cliche because legit, Jaclyn Hill started that forever ago, and it's been with me ever since, and I've always loved it. And I have a lot of nude lipsticks, but just for my natural pinky pretty days, I always grab Cream Cup. It is the goat. And then I just put a little of that on. I don't contour the lips. We're doing everyday, like natural 30s pretty and pinks, like naturally glowy Barbie doll prettiness. And so we don't want a heavy contoured lip. We just want to feel like our lip is that's our natural lip. Alright guys, so this is my final look. I hope you like it. I hope you guys tune in because I'm really wanting to kind of talk about life in my 30s. And I've just been on like this kind of self-discovery kind of deal lately. So I hope you guys like this video and check in for my next one. And we'll talk a little bit more about life in our 30s. Alright guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.